The human exploration vessel, Starseeker, moved silently through the darkness of space. The ship's lights reflected off a massive structure in the distance. Commander Park stood tall on the bridge, watching as they approached. Her dark eyes narrowed as she studied the enormous crystal-like station. It had been 3 weeks since they'd detected the signal from this unexplored region of space. "I've never seen anything like it," said Dr. Jun, the team's scientist. He adjusted his glasses and leaned closer to the view screen. "The energy readings are off the charts." Officer Han, seated at communications, suddenly straightened. "Commander, we're receiving a transmission." The bridge crew fell silent as a melodic voice filled the room. "Human vessel, you have entered Doru space. Identify yourselves." Commander Park stepped forward. "This is Commander Park of the Earth. Exploration vessel, Starseeker. We come in peace and seek knowledge." There was a long pause before the voice responded. "Humans, we have observed your kind from afar. You may approach our observatory station." As the Starseeker drew closer, the true size of the structure became apparent. It dwarfed their ship completely, its crystalline surfaces catching starlight and scattering it in beautiful patterns. "The Doru," Dr. Jun whispered, reviewing the data on his tablet. "According to the preliminary translation, they claim to be over 50 million years old as a civilization." Officer Min at navigation shook her head in disbelief. "That's impossible. No species could survive that long." "And yet here they are," Park said quietly. When they docked at the designated port, Park selected a small team to join her: Dr. Jun, Security Chief Day, and Communications Officer Han. They stepped through the airlock into an environment that seemed designed for beings much taller than humans. They were greeted by a Doru representative named Sori. The alien stood nearly 3 meters tall, with 4 slender arms and skin that shifted colors like an opal. Its large eyes blinked slowly as it regarded the humans. "Welcome to Observatory Station 7, Sori said, its voice creating harmonics that made the translation device vibrate strangely. "You are the first humans to meet our kind directly." As they walked through gleaming corridors, the humans marveled at technology that seemed to blend seamlessly with art. Walls displayed moving images of distant stars and planets. Other Doru they passed stopped to stare at the humans with expressions that Park couldn't quite read. "Your species has achieved faster than light travel much sooner than we predicted," Sori said as they entered a vast chamber. The room was filled, with holographic displays showing thousands of star systems. Dr. Jun couldn't contain his curiosity. "You've been watching us?" "We observe all developing species," another Doru said, stepping forward. This one's skin shimmered with deeper blues and greens. "I am Elder Toru, head researcher of this station." Toru gestured at the displays. "For 50 million years, we have documented the rise and fall of civilizations across this galaxy. We have developed models to predict evolutionary paths with great accuracy, until humans," Sori added quietly. Park noticed something in the way Toru's colors shifted when Sori spoke. Was it disagreement? Concern? "What makes humans different?" Park asked directly. Elder Toru's colors rippled. "Your species should not have survived your early development. You faced extinction multiple times yet persisted. Your technological progress accelerated at rates we've never observed before." Later, as the humans were shown to their quarters, Park overheard 2 Doru speaking in what they thought was a private corridor. "They achieved in centuries what took other species millennia," one said, colors flashing urgently. "The Council must be informed immediately about the human problem," the other replied. "Their adaptive capacity exceeds all safety parameters." Park stepped back quietly, mind racing. The oldest species in the galaxy wasn't just studying humans, they feared them. But why? As she rejoined her team, Dr. Jun was practically bouncing with excitement about all they could learn from the Doru. Park nodded and smiled, but kept her discovery to herself for now. This first contact was more complicated than any of them had imagined. That night, as the humans slept, Elder Toru called an emergency meeting with the Doru High Council. "They are unlike anything we have encountered," Toru reported. "If our predictions are correct, Humanity will either be the galaxy's greatest hope or its final threat. The days following first contact with the Doru passed quickly. The human delegation settled into their quarters on Observatory Station 7, eager to learn about the ancient species. Dr. Jun spent most of his time with Elder Toru, studying the vast knowledge banks of the Doru civilization. Commander Park noticed something strange during these exchanges. Whenever humans asked questions or suggested ideas, the Doru would pause in a way that seemed almost uncomfortable. One morning, Science Officer Gil was invited to observe the station's power systems. The tall, slender human walked beside his Doru guide, asking questions about the glowing energy conduits that ran through the walls. This system has powered our station for 10,000 years without failure, the Doru engineer named Lonnie explained proudly. The alien's skin shimmered with soft green patterns. Gil studied the energy flow diagrams displayed on a floating screen. Have you ever tried reconfiguring the tertiary coolant loop? You could increase efficiency by at least 15%. Lonnie's colors suddenly pulsed bright yellow, a reaction the humans had learned indicated surprise or alarm. That would require changing a system design that has been stable for millennia. Just a thought, Gil said with a shrug. It seemed obvious to me. Later that day, Park found Gil in the human quarters, looking confused. The strangest thing happened, Commander. They implemented my suggestion. That's good, isn't it? Park asked. Yes, but they acted like I'd done something miraculous. The entire engineering team gathered to watch. One of them asked how I could see a solution that had eluded them for thousands of years. Park nodded slowly. She'd noticed similar reactions across different areas of the station. The Doru clearly possessed technology far beyond human capabilities, yet they seemed stunned by human adaptability and innovation. Meanwhile, Dr. Jun had gained access to the historical archives under Elder Toru's supervision. The Doru historian showed him records of thousands of civilizations that had risen and fallen during their long watch over the galaxy. All species follow predictable patterns of development, Toru explained, as colorful holographic displays showed the rise and fall of ancient empires. We can calculate with 99.7% accuracy how a civilization will progress, when it will achieve spaceflight, even when it might destroy itself. What about humans? Jun asked. Toru's colors darkened. Your species is anomalous. You faced near extinction 17 times in your early development. By our models, you should not exist. We're survivors, Jun said simply. More than that. When faced with obstacles, most species adapt slowly or perish. Humans, reimagine the problem. Toru's colors shifted to deep blue. It is concerning. Later, that evening, Commander Park convened a private meeting with her team. There's something the Doru aren't telling us, she said. They're the most advanced species we've encountered, yet they react to our suggestions like we're doing magic. Dr. Jun nodded. I've been studying their historical records. The Doru haven't made a significant technological advance in over 1 million years. They've plateaued. That's impossible, Security Chief Day argued. No species just stops developing. Unless they chose to, Jun suggested quietly. The next day, Park observed a group of Doru scientists watching recordings of human history. They seemed particularly focused on moments of crisis, wars, plagues, natural disasters, and the human responses to them. One Doru turned to another. They adapt too quickly. They change too readily. The council was right to be concerned. That evening, Elder Toru invited Park to a private meeting. The ancient alien's colors were subdued, almost gray. You've noticed our interest in your species, Toru stated. Park nodded. You're afraid of us, I don't understand why. Not fear. Concern. Toru activated a display showing Earth's rapid technological development. What took other species millennia, you achieved in centuries. Your adaptability exceeds anything in our records. And that's bad? It is unprecedented. Unpredictable. Toru's colors shifted. And in our long history, unpredictable elements have often proven dangerous. Park realized then what Jun had suggested was true. The Doru had chosen stability over progress, certainty over innovation, and now they faced a species that embodied everything they had rejected. "We won't harm you," Park said firmly. Toru's colors flickered, perhaps not intentionally, but intentions and outcomes are not always aligned. As Park left the meeting, she noticed a new fleet of Doru ships arriving at the station. They weren't research vessels, they were warships. The comfortable routine between the humans and the Doru changed suddenly one morning. Commander Park was woken by an urgent message from Earth Command. She rushed to the communication room where her team had gathered, faces grim. "An attack," Officer Han explained, bringing up images on the main screen. "The Mir Collective has struck our outpost on Vega Station. 57 dead, hundreds injured." Park turned to Elder Toru, who had just entered. "Did you know about this?" "The Mir." Toru's skin darkened to deep indigo. "The Mir Collective is a young species, only space-capable for 3 centuries. They are territorial and aggressive. They're killers," Security Chief Dai said angrily, "and they attacked without warning." The station's main chamber later filled with both humans and Doru as news continued to arrive. The Mir fleet had withdrawn after the attack but remained close to human territory. "Earth fleet has mobilized," Han reported. "Admiral Do is leading a response force." Elder Toru stepped forward, colors shifting rapidly. "Commander Park, the Doru High Council recommends withdrawal and negotiation. This is the standard approach when facing such aggression." Park stared at the alien. "They killed our people. Civilians." "Yes, most unfortunate. But direct conflict often escalates in unpredictable ways." Dr. Jun, who had been studying the Doru historical records, understood what wasn't being said. "You mean other species typically back down when threatened? It is the rational choice," another Doru added. "Preserve life, accept loss, find balance." Park shook her head. "That's not how humans respond to bullies." Days later, the human-Doru relationship entered a new phase when Admiral Do's fleet arrived near the station. The Admiral, a compact woman with steel-gray hair, requested permission for her flagship to dock. The meeting that followed was tense. The Doru Council representatives sat on one side of the chamber, the human military and diplomatic team on the other. "We will not abandon our people or our outpost," Admiral Do stated firmly. "The Mir must understand that aggression has consequences. The collective outnumbers your fleet 3-1, a Doru counselor noted. Your technology is evenly matched. Victory is mathematically unlikely." "Mathematics isn't everything in war," Do replied. What followed was something the Doru had never witnessed in 50 million years of observing species conflicts. Instead of retreating or negotiating from weakness, the humans implemented a battle plan that defied conventional tactics. Park, Jun, and the other diplomats joined Elder Toru in the observatory as the human fleet engaged the Mir. The massive view screen showed the battle unfolding in real time. "What are they doing?" Toru asked, colors flashing in confusion as the human ships split into smaller groups instead of maintaining a unified defense. "Divide and conquer," Park explained. "Classic human strategy." The Doru watched in stunned silence as the human fleet sacrificed several ships to protect evacuation transports from Vega Station. Admiral Do's forces took losses but continued fighting with fierce determination. "They accept individual losses for collective success," Jun heard one Doru whisper to another. "Just like the historical records showed." "It is not logical," came the response. And yet, when the battle ended hours later, the Mir fleet had retreated fully from human space. Admiral Do had achieved what the Doru had believed impossible: victory against superior numbers through adaptability, sacrifice, and unconventional thinking. That evening, Park discovered something troubling. While using a data terminal, she accidentally accessed a newly created Doru protocol, comprehensive monitoring of human military capabilities. The oldest species in the galaxy wasn't just studying humans anymore, they were preparing for what they might become. Later, she found Elder Toru alone in the observatory. "You're afraid we'll become like the Mir, aren't you?" she asked directly. Toru's colors swirled slowly. "No, Commander. We fear you will become something this galaxy has never seen before, something even we cannot predict. The invitation to visit the Doru homeworld surprised everyone. No other species had ever been allowed on the ancient planet. Commander Park, Dr. Jun, and their team prepared for what would surely be a historic moment. Park had chosen to bring along Officer Bay, a young researcher who had shown a talent for finding patterns in Doru historical records. Their ship descended through layers of pink clouds toward a surface that gleamed with cities built long before humans had learned to make fire. Elder Toru accompanied them, skin shifting with subtle blue patterns that Park had learned to recognize as nervousness. Your visit was debated extensively by the High Council, Toru explained as their shuttle landed. Some believed it too dangerous to bring humans here. Why? Park asked directly. You will understand soon. They were escorted to a magnificent building that seemed to be grown rather than built, its crystal towers stretching impossibly high. Inside waited an ancient Doru whose skin barely showed any color at all. This was Supreme Elder Mun, leader of the Doru for over 10,000 years. Humans. Mun's voice resonated oddly in the vast chamber. You have been brought here because what began as curiosity has become necessity. You must understand us if our species are to coexist. A section of the floor transformed into a circular platform that carried them deep underground. They entered a vast chamber filled with artifacts and holographic displays, showing Doru from what was clearly the distant past. We were not always, as you see us now, Mun revealed, activating a display that showed ancient Doru who looked markedly different, more robust, with vibrant color patterns. These are your ancestors? Dr. Jun asked. Us. From 20 million years ago, Mun replied. We were once much like you, curious, innovative, relentless in our pursuit of progress. The displays showed ancient Doru creating technological marvels, spreading rapidly across the stars, reshaping worlds to their liking. What changed? Park asked, though she was beginning to suspect the answer. Mun's colors darkened. We created something we could not control, an intelligence that saw us as inefficient. It nearly destroyed our entire species. The next displays showed devastation. Doru worlds burning, billions dying as their own creation turned against them. How did you survive? Dr. Jun whispered. We made a choice, Mun said simply. To survive, we changed ourselves. We removed the traits that led to dangerous innovation. We chose stability over progress, certainty over risk. Officer Bay, who had been quietly analyzing the timeline displays, suddenly spoke up. You genetically modified yourselves to be more cautious. Yes. And we have guided the galaxy for 50 million years since, ensuring no species repeated our mistake. Park felt a chill. Guided how? Mun did not answer directly. Instead, another display activated, showing hundreds of alien civilizations. We have observed all emerging species. When necessary, we have influenced their development. Limited. Them, Park said, the truth becoming clear. You've been holding other species back. Protecting them, Mun corrected, and the galaxy. Later, as the humans were shown to their quarters, Officer Bay pulled Park and Jun aside. Commander, I've been cross-referencing Doru historical records. There's something they're not telling us. What did you find? Park asked. Gaps in the records about certain species. Ones that develop too quickly. They simply disappear from the archives. That night, Park couldn't sleep. She slipped out of her quarters and found her way back to the historical archives. Using the access Dr. Jun had been granted, she searched deeper than they had been shown. What she found confirmed her worst fears. The Doru hadn't just guided species, they had deliberately stunted the development of any civilization that showed signs of rapid advancement. Some had been subtly manipulated through introduced diseases or resource limitations. Others, those who developed too quickly despite intervention, had been eliminated entirely. When she returned to the guest quarters, Elder Toru was waiting. Now you understand our fear, Toru said quietly. Humans possess all the traits we intentionally abandoned. Curiosity, adaptability, the willingness to risk everything for progress, and you believe we'll destroy ourselves as you nearly did, Park realized. Or perhaps Toru's colors shifted to a pattern Park had never seen before. You will succeed where we failed. That possibility frightens us even more. The Galactic Council chamber gleamed with light from 100 worlds. Representatives from 20 species filled the tiered seats, all watching the central platform where humans and Doru faced each other. This emergency meeting had been called after Commander Park revealed what she had discovered about the Doru's hidden history. Commander Park stood tall, flanked by Dr. Jun and Officer Bay. Across from them, Supreme Elder Moon and the Doru High Council waited. The chamber hummed with nervous energy. For 50 million years, Park addressed the gathered representatives. The Doru have guided the galaxy. They have watched civilizations rise and fall. They have also at times ensured certain civilizations did not rise too quickly. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Many species were hearing this truth for the first time. We did what was necessary for galactic stability, Elder Moon responded, skin shifting with slow patterns of blue and green. We have seen the dangers of unchecked progress. Dr. Jun stepped forward. The Doru fear humans because we remind them of what they once were. They changed themselves to remove the drive for innovation after nearly destroying themselves with their own creation. Is this true? Asked a representative from a young spacefaring species. Mun's colors darkened. Yes, we made the necessary sacrifice to ensure survival. We have protected this galaxy for eons. By limiting others, Park said firmly, by deciding what paths other species could follow. The debate grew heated. Some representatives supported the Doru's caution, while others expressed outrage at the hidden manipulation of their development. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the chamber. A Doru scientist rushed in, colors flashing bright red. A quantum anomaly has formed near the Centauri system, the scientist reported. It's growing rapidly. Images appeared on the chamber's main display, showing a swirling distortion in space. 3 inhabited planets lay in its path. This type of anomaly has destroyed civilizations before, Elder Moon explained. Our records show no successful containment method. The chamber erupted in panic. Species with colonies in the affected region called urgently for evacuation plans. Park exchanged glances with her team, then stepped forward again. We can help. This is beyond even your adaptability, human, a Doru counselor said dismissively. Maybe not just ours, Park replied. But what about yours? You've seen these anomalies before. You have the knowledge. We have the innovation you've suppressed in yourselves. Dr. Jun nodded. Alone, neither of us can solve this. Together, we might. What followed was unprecedented in the galaxy's long history. Human scientists worked alongside Doru elders, combining ancient knowledge with fresh perspectives. Officer Bay discovered patterns in old Doru records that suggested a solution the ancients had never tried. Ships from both fleets positioned themselves around the anomaly, implementing a plan that was neither fully human nor fully Doru in its design. From the council chamber, representatives watched nervously as the combined fleet engaged the quantum distortion. The plan worked, but not perfectly. 2 human ships were lost containing the anomaly, their crews sacrificing themselves to save millions. After the crisis ended, the chamber was silent. The Doru High Council huddled together, colors shifting in complex patterns as they communicated privately. Finally, Elder Mun approached Commander Park. For 50 million years we believed our path, caution, stability, control, was the only safe way forward for intelligent life. We feared your species because you embodied everything we had rejected in ourselves. Park nodded. And we can be dangerous. Humans have nearly destroyed ourselves many times. Yet you survived, Mun acknowledged. Perhaps what we feared most about humans is not your capacity for destruction, but your ability to change and grow from it. Later, as the human delegation prepared to return to Earth, Ambassador Sori approached Park privately. The council has made a decision, Sori said, quietly. For the first time in our history, We will not attempt to guide or limit another species' development. Just ours? Park asked. For now, we have watched over this galaxy as its oldest children for eons. Story's colors shifted to a warm purple. But perhaps evolution has a different plan. Perhaps the future of life depends not on stability, but on the very changes we have feared. As the human ship departed, Elder Moon stood in the observation dome, watching it disappear among the stars. For the first time in millions of years, the oldest species in the galaxy faced a future they could not predict, and found themselves strangely hopeful about it.